Okay, let's begin lying on our backs in Shavasana. You're dropping fully, nothing to do. Just be. Be in the here and now. And one of the main ways we yoke to or keep anchoring to the present moment, particularly in this class, is through sensation. Not analyzing or thinking about, just noticing sensation. So you could just kind of scan inwardly and notice what you notice. Might be different temperatures throughout the body. Maybe the hands or the feet are a little cooler. You could compare two sides of the body, two hips, two shoulders, two arms, two legs. And notice any difference in sensations there. And feeling the sensations of breath from the tip of the nose all the way down and throughout the body. The invitation is to continue attuning to sensation, fine-tuning your awareness as we go through our movement inquiries. So we'll begin with the feet planted about hip width apart. Arms could come out to T or to cactus shape. With your exhalation, press the lower spine into the ground. And with your inhalation, find your lumbar curve, create your lumbar curve, making a little space between the lower spine and the floor. You could let the breath guide the movement, exhaling, pressing lower back down. Inhaling, rocking toward the tailbone. Fully embodying this spinal oscillation. One more time. Let the spine gradually return to neutral. Feet still planted about hips width apart. Feel each toe how it connects to the floor, balls of the feet, toe mounds, heels. Interlace your hands behind your head at the very bottom of the skull. With your inhalation, find your lumbar curve again, anterior tilt of the pelvis. Exhale as you press the lower back into the floor, lift your head, and really focus on peeling the shoulder blades up off the ground. Inhaling, root the arm bones down. It's a little back bend, it's a front extension, and then exhale as you curl up, squeeze the elbows together. Could add a little more engagement with the exhale, a little rooting of the sacrum straight down. You can also try drawing the abdominal wall back toward the floor. So the rooting coming not just from the back, but from the front in a sense. Couple more rounds. Eventually releasing the head to the ground. Open the arms out to a T. And separate your feet wider than your hips. Windshield wiper knees side to side. Side to side, windshield wiper. Keep the opposite shoulder rooted down. And let's rotate the head opposite. And then we'll add a little swing of that top knee toward the opposite elbow. After you drop the knees over to one side, swing that top knee up toward the elbow. And then kind of retrace so the foot can kind of slide along the floor to land. Drop the knees over to the other side. Swing the knee up. Keep the leg as heavy as you can or you want to. Try not to cut the corners. Let this outer leg drop all the way down. Sometimes that's unintentionally staying up. Feel free to pause anywhere through the movement. Particularly at the end range, you might pause just for a moment. Opposite shoulder still staying rooted. Couple more times side to side. So not as much about getting the knee to the ground or that leg down as in and up. Maybe it feels more like it's angling to the shoulder. After your second side, you can come back to center with the feet planted, hips width apart once again, and the hands interlaced behind the head at the bottom of the skull. Inhale, press the arm bones down into the floor, make a back arch, so spinal extension, back bend. And then exhale, bring knees and elbows together. Inhale, feet land lightly at the same time as their arm bones press down. And then exhale, everything coming in once again. So you could focus more on bringing the knees in, or you could focus more on lifting the shoulder blades off the ground. Full breath in, let the belly expand. Sometimes we keep holding the belly in, even though the breath wants to nudge it out. Let's add a diagonal action here. So maybe, yeah, as the knees come in, knees go one way, elbows go the other way. Inhale, and the feet. Exhale, knees go one way, elbows go the other way. So the knees are basically angling toward the shoulder and the elbows toward the opposite hip. Full breath in, long breath out. Last round. And release all together to Shavasana. Awareness of sensation through internal scanning, just like an open receptivity with an inward gaze. Maybe there's like a buzzing feeling. Tingling. Notice what's here. Okay, let's bring knees in toward the chest, with or without the hands. Circle the knees. Switch directions. Bring the knees back into the chest. Let's bring left arm overhead and then roll onto your left side. Actually, we'll bring the arms out in front. You might want to have your belt handy for in a minute. So knees are in toward the chest. We're on the left side, and the arms are out in front with the hands stacked. If your head is uncomfortable, if your neck doesn't reach the ground, please put something underneath it so it's not hovering. Make sure the knees are at least in line with the hips and maybe closer into the chest. Okay, so hands are stacked. We're going to slide the top hand away so it outruns the bottom hand, and then reach the arms up. Sorry, reach that top arm up and then back behind you into a twist. Space challenged for some reason. And then reach the arm up toward the ceiling and close up again. So the hands stack. And you want to really roll on your head here. Let that happen. You might come all the way to your forehead when the arms are out in front of you. Go slow, arm reaching actively as it describes that semicircle. Couple more rounds. And then the next time the hands are stacked, we'll straighten the top leg out in front. So thighs are still stacked. If you're able to hold the foot with both hands, cool. And if not, you can take a belt around the foot, top foot, so it's the right foot, and hold with both hands. So either way, the bottom leg is bent, the top leg is straight out in front of you. And if you want, you can kind of fold in a little bit more so the head is resting on the bottom arm. The right knee could be bent if you're feeling too much stretch. We're looking for moderate amount of sensation. You could also flex the foot, push through the heel. And now we'll keep this leg out in front and keep the connection with the bottom hand. So right foot to left hand, maybe by way of the belt. And we'll resume that active semicircle reach with the top arm and letting the head roll. So reach the right arm up, 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 as if you could touch the ceiling, and then the arm goes back behind you into our spinal twist. Reach the arm up, and then it comes out in front of you once again. Find your rhythm. The arm's only going back as far as feels good for the shoulder. And if the shoulder is a little unhappy here, don't bring the arm straight out to a T. You can bring it more alongside your body. See if that feels better. One more round. And then once you're facing the foot again, we'll straighten the bottom leg underneath the top leg. So both legs are straight, pretty much out in front of you. And again, the knees can be bent. You can take your hands over the tops of your feet or your belt around both feet. Head is heavy, head is down. Maybe the head's on the bottom arm. Try flexing your feet. Pull your toes toward your knees. If you're using a belt, place it just around the bottom foot, so just around left foot, or you keep that connection, left foot, left hand. We'll stretch the right arm and the right leg, so top arm, top leg up toward the ceiling, and then plant your right foot in line with the right sitting bone and let that right arm open back into the T shape. Breathing here. So left leg is stretched out to the side, trying to get that right shoulder to release down to the ground. And then I like to be active with this right leg. So push the right foot into the floor and drive the knee away from you. You might experiment with where the right foot is, like how close it is to the right sitting bone, and how that affects the sensation. Belly turning right, right shoulder heavy, even right knee moving right a little, and left leg actively stretching to the left. Okay, let's come back onto the left side. You can bend both knees and then just roll onto your right side. Take your time. So same sequence, second side, knees tucked into the chest, arms out in front of you with the hands stacked. Your shoulder, you can kind of tuck your shoulder down away from your ear. And if your head doesn't reach the ground or your neck feels strained, please put something underneath your head. Knees at least in line with the hips and maybe closer in toward the chest. So we start the movement by sliding the top hand away. It outruns the bottom hand. And then when you can't reach anymore, reach the arm up toward the ceiling and bring it back behind you toward the floor. Ride the breath, reaching, head rolling, hands stack, and do it again. Once more. And then once you're on your side fully again, the hands stacked, straighten your top leg out in front of you. So keep the thighs stacked. And you can use your belt around your foot if it's a little far away. Taking hold of the foot or the belt with both hands. We're working the opening of the back of this top leg, your left hamstring and calf muscles. So opening the back of the knee per your capacity. Head is down, maybe head is on your bottom arm, only if that's reasonable, not if you have to kind of contort yourself to get there. Breathe into the back. And now adjust so you've got the connection of the bottom hand with the top foot, maybe by way of the belt. So it's right hand, left leg out in front of you. Left arm is free to reach up toward the ceiling. We're back in our twisting movement here. Arm can come down more alongside the body if you're getting shoulder pain. Go slow, slow enough to feel sensation, to acknowledge, to notice sensation. A couple more times. And once you get back to your side, out of the twist, bottom leg straightens, so the legs are stacked, legs are straight, pretty much out in front of you. You can take the belt around both feet again, or get a grip on both feet, right over the toes. Head is down on something. Push through your heels. Keep the connection of bottom foot and bottom hand, maybe by way of the belt. So it's right foot, right hand. Stretch your left arm, left leg up toward the ceiling. Plant the left foot in line with the left sitting bone. And open left arm out to a T or lower. Belly turning left, left shoulder heavy. You can play with reaching the left knee away from you, like you're lunging it forward. Maybe angling it a bit to the left as the right leg actively stretches to the right. Breath is in the foreground of awareness. Gradually come back onto your right side. Bend both knees and then roll onto your back. Return to the full release of Shavasana. Watching and listening inwardly. Interlace your hands over your chest. Flip the palms to face up toward the ceiling, arms stretching up. That's it. And then sweeping arms overhead. Stretch through your legs. Try drawing your rib cage in toward the midline, down toward the floor, and down toward the pelvis. You can accentuate with that with the exhalations and then maintain some of it with the inhalations. Release all together, Shavasana. Notice the inner landscape. Okay, let's bend the knees, roll to the side, and come up to sit in a pinwheel shape. So let's have the mirror, the left leg in front, the right leg tucked in. So it's, I call it pinwheel. Front leg in Baddha Konasana, back leg in Virasana, and we're folding over the front knee, over the left knee. Breathe into the back. You can stay right here, or we start working toward pigeon. You might not come into this fully straightened back leg, but you can maybe bring the leg back a little bit more so the knee is still bent. Folding over the front leg. Some of you can fully straighten the back leg and level the hips into pigeon. So just know it's not all or nothing. You can slide the knee just slightly further back and kind of test the waters, see how it feels. And let's maintain more of a neutral spine wherever you are. So maybe in the beginning, as I was doing, you were just kind of completely letting go of the torso. But now let's be on the forearms or on the hands with the chest lifted, chest moving forward. Little pressure down through the forearms, shoulder blades drawing down the back, and gazing between your arms. So chin is slightly tucked, and the back of your skull slightly pressing up toward the ceiling. Or back behind you, depending on how much you're folded forward. Try a little bit of that same rib action that we did a moment ago. So bringing the ribs in toward the midline, toward the back body, and a little down toward the waist. Rock over onto your left hip. Slide the right knee in. So you rewind to pinwheel if you left it, and then drop the legs over to the other side. So now the right leg is in Baddha Konasana, that tree pose shape, and left leg in Virasana. If you can, have the foot tucked in close to the hip. We fold over the front knee, the right knee. Okay, maybe coming up and straightening this back leg just a little bit, or further, maybe all the way, and shifting to level the hips. You can stay up on your hands or come down onto your forearms. That's it. Elbows are beneath the shoulders. I'm pressing down a little bit so I'm not sinking into the shoulders. Chest moving forward. Back skull in line with the sacrum. So gaze is down, chin is slightly tucked. Try bringing the ribs toward the midline, toward the back body, and a little more down toward the pelvis. Rock over to your right hip and slide the back knee in. And then from here, let's come to a seat with the legs out wide. Upavishta Konasana. If you're slumped back, please sit on the edge of a blanket to be more upright. And we're going to stay upright here, at least for now. And you can bring your hands alongside your hips and press slightly down, drawing up through the sides of the torso. Snug the shoulder blades down the back. Make sure your toes point straight up toward the ceiling, not out, not in. Press the thighs down. Push out through the heels. Adding a twist. Bringing your left hand somewhere, might be all the way to your right leg. It might have to be more out in front of you. You could use a block, perhaps. Right? Or you can bring your hand all the way to your thigh. Right hand walks back behind you, twisting to the right. So you can really bring that right shoulder blade toward the spine and down the back. Rooting through the legs, and especially aware of the left leg. See if you can kind of push the heel of the left leg a little further away from you. Let's turn the head so the nose is in line with the sternum. And with left hand on right leg, You can get a little bit of a down and away action. It's not much here, but a little pressure down on the thigh, as if you could move the flesh of the thigh away toward the foot. Unwind, come back to center. Twist to your left. So right hand can be on the left thigh, maybe on a block next to the thigh. Walk your left hand back behind you to take the shoulder back. Draw the shoulder blade down the back. Be attentive to the legs that they're engaged. Toes point up. Right leg has almost the sensation of reaching away from you. See how that works for you. Maybe it doesn't. Aligning nose with sternum. Try getting a little down and away push with your right hand if it's on the left leg. Just a little grounding. Unwind, come back to center. You can do a little bit of a side to side movement. You don't have to get really techniquey with this, just kind of wave torso over one leg, then over the other. Maybe it's more torso facing the leg, traveling through center. Some kind of side to side movement. Staying anchored through both sitting bones. Staying active through both legs. Press the thighs down. And then staying over one leg. So let's turn the belly to face the thigh, folding over the leg. Hands can be on the floor, framing the leg. Some of you could take hold of your foot, but it's less about getting the foot and more about, let's really work more of the hip hinge and neutral spine than rounding. So chest moving forward, shoulders down the back, slight tuck of the chin, and then press the back of the head back. So it's in line with the sacrum. So whatever leg you're folded over, pay a little more attention to the other leg, pressing it down. And again, that kind of away action, it could just be a visualization. Some of us let that whole hip come up in order to fold more over the leg. Let's keep the hips rooted, or the sitting bones rooted instead. Working with the breath here, last few breaths. So as you inhale, see if you can get a little bit more length. Maybe you lift a little bit to find that length through the spine. And then you can turn the navel a little more to the thigh. And then fold in a tiny bit more perhaps. Rising up carefully, slowly through center. Over to the other side, facing the leg. Make it more hip hinge than a dive. Chest forward. Shoulders glide a little down toward the waist. Head is in line with the sacrum. So you can tuck the chin a little bit and then draw the head back. Whatever leg you're folding over, be a little more attentive to the other leg. Sometimes you start with the toes up and then you look away and the foot turns in, so toes pointing up, thigh rooting down, little away, reach through the heels, like you could slide the back of the leg away from you. Working with the breath, inhaling to lift and lengthen slightly. We lift to lengthen and then turn the navel a little more toward the thigh and fold perhaps a little deeper back to where you were. Slowly rise up, back to center. Bring feet together, knees are wide in Baddha Konasana. Maybe shift your pelvis a little closer to your feet. And let's again have hands rooted alongside the hips. Rising up through the sides of the torso, push down with your hands. Guide the shoulder blades down the back. Inner knees stretch, reach away from each other. Slightly tuck the chin and then draw the head a little bit back. Gently release. Let's take our blanket off of the mat if you had one, or grab your mat if you've been working on carpet. Coming up to stand. Okay, we're coming into a wide-legged stance. Toes point forward. Feel each toe, visual check, make sure one foot's not forward of the other. And then let's just fold halfway down. So spine parallel to the floor. Hands can come down to the floor or blocks. Let's have hands shoulder width apart. Fingers spread, root through each finger, root through each knuckle. Kind of draw your chest forward, hips back. There's not really any movement, but it's a lengthening through the spine. I mean, the chest moving forward might be some movement. And then let's come back to the ribs. So let's try to bring the ribs slightly in toward the midline, slightly toward the back body, and a little down toward the pelvis. Tuck the chin a little bit, press the back of the head slightly upward. Breathing here. Might not feel like a huge stretch or a lot of sensation. That's okay. Attune to the micro sensations. If you're able, keep your feet wide, hands to your hips, rising up. And then we'll set up for side angle. Let's go right side first. So I'm mirroring, right toes turn forward. Bend your right knee to stack it over the ankle. You could put a block inside or outside your front foot, or you could have your forearm on your thigh. If forearm on thigh, have your palm facing up. And then try hugging your feet in toward each other and squeeze your back glute. So if your right foot is forward, actively engage your left buttock muscle. Turning through the ribs, maybe bringing the arm up or alongside the ear. Hand could stay on the hip as well. Another option. Notice if the ribs are popping forward. Let's work that same action. So ribs in toward the midline, kind of absorb them toward the back body and move them a little down toward the pelvis. Let's adjust gaze down. Push feet into the floor to rise up. Don't change the position of the feet for triangle pose. So let's stretch arms out at a T, or at least the front one. Let the hips shift back. Now the front leg stays straight or relatively straight. We keep elongating through this right side and then bring the hand down to something. Again, try hugging feet in toward each other. Might feel kind of weird here. Squeeze the back glute, turning through the ribs, maybe extending up through the arm. Let's again turn the gaze down. So it's kind of like the head and that top shoulder are moving opposite. Notice if the ribs are popping forward. Try bringing them in toward the midline, toward the back body, maybe a little down toward the waist. You want to go slow with all of these suggestions and adjustments so you can see how they work in your body. And then if they don't work, you don't do them. Any of them, all of them. Let's push the feet into the floor. If you're just working with the one block or it's just a one block handy, take it with you. Rising up, we'll take the same two asana on the second side. So left toes point out in front of you. You can place your block inside or outside the front foot for side angle, Parshvakonasana. Bend the front knee. Hug the feet in toward each other. Turn on that back glute. Forearm to thigh with the palm up or hand to block. Ribs in toward the midline, toward the back body, down toward the pelvis a little bit. Gazing down. Press the feet down. Slowly rise up. Front leg is straight for triangle. Extending top arm out in front of you. Let the hips shift back. Keep reaching. So this left side stays really long. Bring the hand down to something. Try again, hugging the feet in toward each other, turning on that back glute. Turn through your ribs, maybe extend through the arm. Gaze down. Check in with their ribs. We want them in line with the pelvis, basically, and they're often forward of the pelvis. Bringing them in toward the midline, toward the back, toward the pelvis. Push feet into the floor. Rise up. Turn the feet parallel again, so feet are wide. This time, interlace your hands behind you. Shoulders down, chest lifting. Fold forward. Knees can be bent. You can let the head go. Reaching through the arms up and away. Maybe bend the knees even more. Push feet down, rise up, release your hands, and let's bring feet under frame. Coming into mountain pose at the top of the mat. You might want to have both blocks handy at the top of the mat. Okay, let's come into pyramid pose. So let's go left foot forward first. We want the hips facing forward. You bring that back hip, bring your right hip forward. Hug the feet in toward each other to help find that action. Check in with your ribs here. Ribs move in toward the midline, down toward the waist, down to or back behind you. Reach the arms up. Did the ribs come up? We want to keep that rib engagement. And then reach the hips back, hinge forward, reach forward. Hands can come down to the blocks. Reaffirm that action of the feet hugging in toward each other. Let's keep neutral spine here. So tuck the chin, back skull, lifting up to align with the sacrum. Pure hip hinge. Nothing changes, not the ribs, not the head, not the shoulders. Just fold from the hip, crease. Blocks can go lower if you can keep your chest open. Okay, let's flip the blocks back to their highest setting. Bring your hands to your hips, rise up, keep the stance for revolved triangle. Confirm once again, your feet are hugging in toward each other or front foot back, back foot front. It's really for the hip adjustment. Let's keep the left hand on the hip, left leg is forward, right arm reaching up toward the ceiling. It's the same action we just did to come into pyramid. So the hips move back, the arm reaches forward, and then bring the right hand down to the block, maybe outside of the left foot. Spine parallel to the floor. So left hand can help draw that left hip back. If you notice you're kind of crunchy in the left waist, and pull the hip back. Keep the hips level. Might bring your left hand now to the sacrum, so you can guarantee or just be a little more aware that the hips are not moving. Rotating, it's a twist to the left through the ribs. That's it. Maybe extending through the left arm. Let's turn the gaze down again. Try the same rib action. Ribs toward the midline, toward the back, toward the pelvis. That might give you a little more ability to rotate. Unwind slowly. Step your back foot forward and rise to stand. Second side, pyramid pose. Right foot is forward between the blocks. Drag the front foot back, drag the back foot forward. Make sure hips are pointing forward. Ribs are down, ribs are in, ribs are down, ribs are back as the arms rise up. The shoulders are moving independently of the rib cage, and then drive the hips back, reach forward until the hands come down. Make sure chin is slightly tucked, back skull lifting upward. So the skull and the sacrum are in the same plane. And then maintain that and keep folding. Keeping the chest open. And flip the blocks back to the high setting. Hands to the hips, rising up. Front foot drags back foot drags forward. And let's bring right hand to right hip, left arm stretching up. Move the hips back, especially right hip. Right hand can help as you reach forward, forward, forward. Once the spine is parallel to the floor, bring the hand down. Can adjust the block. We want the spine to stay parallel. And then let's bring the right hand to the sacrum so we can monitor that the hips aren't moving. Twisting to the right through the spine. The ribs are following. Maybe the arm reaches up. And then you can experiment, as we have been, ribs in toward the midline, toward the back, toward the pelvis. Does that engagement give you a little more ability to rotate? Gaze down. Unwind, take your time. Step your back foot forward and rise to stand. Let's take a wide stance again. When you feel grounded, stable, fold forward. Let's slide the hands down the outer seams of the legs, toward the outer ankles, maybe to the heels. Slightly gather shoulder blades toward the spine so the chest stays open. Bend your knees, hands to your hips, rising up. Great. From here, let's walk the feet in, coming back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Find your inward gaze for a moment. Okay, just one more standing pose. It's a warrior one. So let's start with the left foot forward. Take your right foot back. Toes turn in a lot. You don't have to get the hips square, but we want to have if the left foot is forward, we want to bring this right side of the rib cage forward. Bend your left knee. Check out your ribs in relation to your hips. So mine are kind of popping forward. I want to bring them in toward the midline, toward the back, down toward the pelvis. So they're stacked over the hips. And then see if you can keep that rib adjustment as you bring your arms up alongside the ears. So we're just not doing it like with the back bend approach. Try hugging the feet in toward each other and engaging your back glute. And then option to join the hands in prayer and bend at the elbows. So the hands kind of lower behind the head and the elbows reach up toward the ceiling and hug in toward the head, but we didn't lose the ribs. They're still stacked with the hips. Slowly release the arms, straighten the leg, you can step the back foot forward and take a breath. Second side, warrior one. Right foot is forward, or whatever your second side is. Pretty good size step back. Hug your feet in, so you don't need to square the hips, but we want to make sure this left side of the rib cage is forward. Bend your right knee, your front knee. Hug your feet in toward each other, turn on this back glute. Ribs in toward the midline, toward the back, down toward the ground. So we're just taking out any back bend that might have arisen. And then keep that rib adjustment and stretch the arms up. Stay here or join the hands in prayer, bend the elbows. Try not to let the elbows go wide. Keep the elbows in and elbows reaching up. Elbows up, ribs down. Carefully release the arms. Let's go back to down dog. Planting the hands with care, making your way back. And a few times down dog to plank and back again. Take the whole inhale to shift forward to plank. Gazes between the hands. And then lift from the hips, from the lower belly, back to downward facing dog. Let's go 4 more times. Inhaling to plank. The hands are screwing outward into the ground. Your exhale to down dog. Keep going. Could do this with knees down if the weight bearing is too much. Forward for shoulders to stack over wrists. And then back. Maybe keep the toes tucked back toward child's pose. 1 more time. And then from down dog or that child's posy shape, let's come down to the knees. We're setting up for a side plank. So let's keep the right leg where it is, right foot where it is. The knee is under the hip. If it's not, bring it in a little so it's directly under the hip. And the right wrist is beneath the right shoulder. Dial that right hand outward and see if you can bring that shoulder blade down toward the waist. So that right side basically all stays in line. We'll stretch back through the left leg. So you can root the whole foot maybe, or just the outer edge. And then as the left arm leaves the ground, Try to press the knee down, engage the glutes, turn through your ribs, maybe stretch the arm up. Gaze is down. Keep securing that right shoulder blade down and in. That's critical. You can check in with your ribs if that's been helpful for you. Are they popping forward relative to your hips, relative to your pelvis? Into the midline, toward the back, toward the waist. And then maybe you can rotate a little more, chest toward the ceiling. Come back to all fours. Make sure your left knee is underneath your left hip and the left foot is in line. We're not going to swing it back if possible. So left wrist directly beneath left shoulder. We're dialing the hand outward and moving that shoulder blade down the back. Extending back through the right leg, grounding the foot, squeezing the glutes, opening up, maybe extending through the top arm. Move your left shoulder blade down toward the waist and in toward your chest. Gaze down. Check out your ribs. Adjust if need be so they're in line with your pelvis. See if that gives you more ability to rotate. It does for me. Coming back to all fours. Hips to heels, child's pose. Breathe into your back. Please come to a seat. One seated pose here is west stretch or Paschimottanasana. So legs out in front of you. If you're tipping back, please sit on the edge of something so you can be fully upright. You can take feet hip width or as wide as your mat if you like. Let's bring one hand to the back skull and the other to the sacrum. Check out your ribs. If you're a rib popper, you're doing it over and over again. So the chin slightly tucked, press the back skull a little bit into the hand. So we have this alignment with sacrum and skull. And this is a pure hip hinge. So the head's not moving. Deepen the hip crease to fold. Press the thighs down. And then when you reach your edge, see if you can keep your head just where it is and just bring your hands down. So you might get to your feet, you might not. Keep the chest moving forward. Some of you can use a belt around your feet or take hold of your feet to get a little bit more movement here, but then it turns into passive range, which is okay. It's just different. So active versus passive, stretching. Slowly rise up and come onto your back again. Let's come right into constructive rest. Feet are planted. How wide apart and how close they are to your sitting bones is really your experiment. In order to bring the knees together in a relatively effortless way. Let's do a manual assist for the ribs. Same idea here. So fingers on the front of the bottom rib cage, thumbs wrap around to the back. Scoop the thumbs up toward your head and the front ribs down toward your pelvis. And then let your arms go. And be with your breath. And be with sensation. Let's bring the legs back to more neutral, hip width-ish. Drape your left leg on top of your right leg. So there's as little space as possible between the thighs, not the figure four shape. Next stage is to bring the knees in toward the chest. The hands can assist that. Stay here or slide your hands down to catch hold of your feet. Keep bringing the knees toward the chest and bring your feet toward your outer hips. Relax your jaw. Release the feet. Uncross the legs, feet back to the ground. Right leg on top of left. Next stage is to bring the knees in. Hands might help. Stay here or slide your hands down to catch your feet. Knees toward chest, feet toward outer hips. Release the feet, uncross the legs. You can either simply bring knees to chest or arms inside the legs. Take hold of the feet, happy baby. And then gradually release all together into your Shavasana. Coming into stillness. If the mind starts to go on walkabout, can bring your focus to your breath and to internal sensations. If you're finding ease in being present, just rest. Come back into the river of breath. Slowly and gently, making your way to a seat. Take a breath in. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you.